봐야 되는 의미가 없어요. 그거라고 했다가 또
맞아.
다른 거 가지고
저 찍었어요. 제 거가 더 잘 나와요. 그래서 김병욱 이거지가 의원대가 여러 교육관계 인사들을 모시고 옆으로 되게 옆으로 너무 가까이.
아, 네, 이게 잘 나와.
그쵸? 한국대와 신명연대 및 한국교원대가 Innovation for Higher Education.
안 나오는데. Hello, Anna. How are you? Can you hear me, Anna? Anna, how are you?
Can you hear me?
How is the weather in Peru?
Quite good.
Very
But
good.
the politic, terrible, terrible. But
Is your
But the weather
university
is-
open?
not yet.
Not yet.
We're still virtual.
When it's supposed to be open?
We are not sure.
You are not sure.
We are not sure. No, maybe one more year online.
One more year.
Probably.
Oh, that sounds bad.
Yes.
I wish you stay healthy and safe.
Yes. Thanks God we are okay. All the family is okay. Well, I know some stories from students, but we are trying to help all of them.
Please deliver my best regard to your President Chavez, Mr. Chavez.
Thank you very much. I will.
And also, Mr. Agus is there? Mr. Agus, can you hear me? 이 화면 좀 띄워주면 좋겠는데 여기다 줌 화면도. 네, 그 옆으로 좀 띄워주세요. 예, 모니터 하나만 돌려주세요. 네, 네, 네. 그 제가 나오는 화면도 좀 필요한데, 그죠? 아, 오케이. 예. It's not. Mr. Agus, are you there? Can you hear me? 근데 안 나오잖아, 근데. 네. 네, 그렇죠. 네. 요거를 아니면 탁자를 좀 움직여야 되잖아, 그죠? 가린다. 예, 좋네. 예, 이거 훨씬 좋네. Anna, we are doing some technical things here so that we can best serve you.
It's okay. It's perfect. It's perfect.
발언할 때 마스크 없이. 응? 아, 이건 되지. 그냥 떨어져 있잖아, 이거는. 오케이, 알았어. 오케이. 예. 예, 그 줌 화면이 좀 나오면 좋겠는데. 예. We are doing this event in the indoors. There are several people, so they asked me to wear a mask to the end of the seminar today. So
Well, actually, at least you can do these kind of seminars. We are not prepared. I think we are not prepared yet.
What time is it now in Peru?
Almost 12.
2 o'clock in the morning?
12 in the morning. 12
Oh,
o'clock.
4 o'clock in the morning. Good.
12.
4 o'clock.
No, it's 12 at night.
Yeah. 소개를 다 해야지 처음부터, 그지? I'll come back in a minute, okay?
Okay.
유네스코 유니트윈 주관대학 공동 세미나를 시작하도록
Distinguished
하겠습니다.
guests, we will now start
아시겠지만
today's seminar.
유네스코는
As you're well aware,
1992년도부터
UNESCO started in
유니트윈 주관대학을 지정해
1962
왔습니다.
to
한동대학교가 2007년도에
for
유네스코로부터
Unitwin
대한민국에서는
universities.
최초로
Handong
유니트윈
University was
주관대학으로
the first
지정되었고
to be
숙명여대가
the
2014년,
Unitwin University in Korea,
방송통신대가
and Sungung
2017년,
University in
한국교원대가
2014,
2018년도에
the
지정된
Korean
바가
National Open
있습니다.
University in
이렇게
2016,
네 개의
Korea
대학이
National
개도국을
University of Education in
돕고 그래서
2018.
그
All the four
과정을 통해서
universities
개도국의
are helping
지도자들을
the developing
양성하고
countries
또 대한민국의
and
국격을
nurturing new
높이는데
leaders of
정말
these
앞서서
in these
일해왔다라고
countries.
생각합니다. 오늘
So
바쁘신
today,
가운데도 이렇게
Out of
시간
your busy
내주셔서 정말
schedules, thank
감사드립니다.
you all for
특별히
coming here today.
곧 소개해드릴 우리
We have some
제일 먼저
distinguished
우리
guests
유기영
today.
국회
First, let me
교육위원장님
introduce
소개하도록
lawmaker Yoo
하겠습니다.
Gi-hong,
큰 박수로
member of the
맞아-
National Assembly and chairman of the Education Committee. Please give him a big round
정말
of applause.
감사드립니다.
Thank you for
그다음에
your kind introduction.
김병욱 의원님 나오셨습니다. 큰 박수로 맞으시죠.
And we have lawmaker Kim Byung-uk, member of the National Assembly,
숙명여대 장윤금 총장님 자리하셨습니다.
and President Chang Yoon-kum of Kyungwon Women's University,
한동대학교 장순웅 총장님 자리하셨습니다.
President Jang Soon-hung of Handong Global University,
교육부의 국제협력국장 최은희
and
국장님
from Ministry
나오셨습니다.
of Education, we have Director General Choi Yoon-hee with us,
박경영 사무관님 자리하셨습니다.
Director General Park Kyung-hyung with us,
숙명여대 정기은
University.
국제처장님 자리하셨습니다.
Director General Jung Gi-won is here,
숙명여대 아태
숙명
여성정보통신원 조정인 교수님 자리하셨습니다.
Director Jo Jong-in, Director of Asia Pacific Women's Information Network Center,
교원대학교 손정주 교수님 나오셨습니다.
Professor Son Jong-ju from Korean National
교원대학교
University of Education,
정현주 국제교류팀장님 교수님 계십니다.
Professor Jung Young-ju from Korean National
예,
University of Education,
한동대학교 지범하 교수님 자리하셨습니다.
Professor Ji Bom-ha from Handong Global University,
한동대학교 유기선 교수님
Professor Yoo
자리하셨습니다.
Gi-sun from Handong University,
방송통신대학교 권영민 교수님
Professor
같이
Kwon
하셨습니다.
Young-min from Korean National Open University,
방송통신대학교 양창열 박사님 같이 하셨습니다.
Dr. Yang Chang-yeol from Korean National Open University.
그리고 지금 이 실시간 줌으로
And we are doing
지금
this
자리하신
real
분들
time
소개하도록
in
하겠습니다.
Zoom. Now,
제일 먼저
let me
에티오피아의
introduce
메쿠리아
our online
헤일레
speakers.
장관님 줌에
His Excellency
계십니다.
Professor Agus Hatardi
페루 산파블로
From
대학교의
Peru, San
안나
Pablo
번스
University.
교수님 자리하셨습니다.
Dr. Alana Bons is here.
캄보디아
From
파나사스트라
Cambodia,
대학의
from
치브라타
Banastasia
학장님
University.
계십니다.
Professor, Dean Chivrata is here with
인도네시아
us.
유니버시타즈
From Indonesia.
북한 닥터 아리 위도도 교수님 계십니다.
Professor Ari Idodo is also here with us online.
네팔 트리비반 대학의
From Nepal,
고탐
University of
교수님
Tribhuvan.
자리하셨습니다.
Professor Goban is also here with us.
라오스
From Laos,
국립대학의
National
닥터
University.
후파 찬타봉
Dr.
교수님
Hupa
자리하셨습니다.
Chantabong is also here with us today.
예, 정말 이렇게 같이 해주셔서 국내외 정말
I want to
감사합니다.
thank you all again for
오늘
joining
그,
us today, offline and online.
순서를 잠시 말씀드리겠습니다. 먼저
So I want to briefly
유니트윈
introduce
주관대학에서
today's
장순웅
schedule.
총장님, 장윤금 총장님,
We will have two
계획하시고요.
opening remarks from
유기영
the
위원장님, 김병욱 의원님
presidents,
축사를 해주실 거고,
and also two
교육부에서
congratulatory remarks from our two lawmakers here.
인사말을 해주실
And Director
예정입니다.
General Choi Yoon-hee is also going to have give us a congratulatory remark. Please sit down where you are and just turn on your microphones, please. And after, we will have a short photograph session.
방통대와 교원대 총장님이
And after
영상으로
that, we will have
말씀해 주실
two
예정이고요.
video opening
그다음에
remarks from two
온라인으로 메쿠리아 헤일레
presidents.
웨슬리 페터 박사,
and we
루비엘
will go to
로베르토,
online
호셀리토 헨슨
for our
총장님께서
sessions with
저
our
영상으로
global
말씀해 주실
speakers.
것입니다.
They will
줌에 계시지만 저희들이 혹시
talk to us
끊어질
from
것을
the video.
예비해서 영상을
They
미리
are online with Zoom,
받아두었습니다.
but
그리고 나서
we might have some,
한동대학교
as we might have
숙명여대
some connection problems,
방송통신대학교
we already
교원대에서
received their
한 분씩
videos.
발표를 한
And also
다음에
we will have our
그 다음에 토론을
Korean
진행하겠습니다.
panelists, and then we will do
국내
panel
발표자에
discussion.
대해서 2명씩의
So
토론자가
two
지정돼
discussants
있고
will
지정 토론이 끝난
do their
다음에는
discussion
유튜브나
for
또는
one Korean
다른
panelist.
매체를 통해서
And
질문
after
온 거에 대해서 자유 토론이
we will have an
진행되도록
open
하고
discussion
그다음에
with the question received from YouTube or
15시
other
38분경에
online
마치도록
platforms.
최대한
We will end
노력하겠습니다.
about
특히
at
국내
34
발표자님들께서는
p.m. We will do our best
7분
to
시간을
get
정확하게
in that
좀
timeline. So
지켜주셨으면
all Korean speakers,
감사하겠습니다.
please
예, 그러면은 우리
be sharp for your
바쁘신
7
가운데도
minutes.
그 귀한 자리를 마련해 주신
So now let me introduce our opening remarks. President Jang Soon-hum and President Jang Yoon-gum, lawmaker Yoo Gi-hong and lawmaker Kim Byung. Now we will hear from our speakers. Professor Jang Soon-hum, please.
한동대학교
Greetings to you all. As
장순영입니다.
introduced, I'm
오늘
President Soon Jang from
유기용
Handong Global
의원실,
University.
김병욱
Today, under the co-host
의원실과
of the office of Ki-Yong-yu and Pyong-Kim,
한동대와
members of the National
숙명여대,
Assembly as well as
한국
Handong Global
강통대,
University,
한국
Soonmyung Women's
교원대가
University,
여러
Korean National
개도국
Open University, and
교육관계
Korean National
인사들을
University of
모시고
Education. It is
포스트
my
코로나
great
시대
pleasure to host the
고등교육의
Innovation for Higher
혁신과 미래에
Education in the
세미나를
post-COVID-19 era,
개최하게 된
seminar
것을
joined by
매우
many
기쁘게
education
생각합니다.
officers from various
참석하신 모든
developing
분들께
countries.
진심으로 환영합니다.
And I'd like to sincerely
특별히
welcome all
바쁘신
distinguished
중에도 이번
participants.
세미나를
Especially my special thanks goes
공동
out
주최하기 위해
to
적극적으로 힘써주신
President
유기용
Ki-Yong-yu of the
교육위원장님,
Board of Education,
김병욱
lawmaker Pyong-kim,
교육위원님,
a member of
또
the
우리
National
교육부
Assembly,
박백범
and
차관님,
Baek
그리고
Bok-bang, Vice
장윤금
Minister
숙명여대
of
총장님께
Education,
감사의
and
말씀을
Yoon
전합니다.
Geum-jang, President of
아울러
Soonmyung
먼
Women's
곳에서
University, for
귀한
taking
시간
your
내에
time out.
이
And
세미나에
also, I'd like to
참석해
sincerely
주신
welcome
협력대학의
all of those
관계자분들께
staff members and
감사와
officials
환영의
from
말씀을
Unitwin
전합니다.
University.
코로나19가 전 세계로 확산되면서
As
우리 사회는
COVID-19
새로운
spread
위기를
across the
맞이하고
world, thus
있습니다.
our society is
세계보건기구에서는
experiencing
전염병
unprecedented
경보
crisis.
단계 중
The WHO has
최고
declared the
위험
disease
등급에
as a pandemic, the
팬데믹을
highest risk
선언했고
level in the
과거와
epidemic
비교할
alert
수 없을
phase.
정도로 사회
And
전반에 큰
the virus
충격을
has
주고 있습니다.
sent a huge
이러한
shock to
혼란
global
속에
society in a manner that is uncomparable to the past. Amidst this
비상사태를 겪고
chaos,
있습니다.
education is
한국의
experiencing an
교육은
unprecedented state of
코로나19에
emergency.
대비하여 대면
Education
교육에서
in
비대면
Korea
교육을
is
중심으로 움직이고
currently
있습니다.
transitioning from
또한
face-to-face to
4차
non-face-to-face
산업혁명
education,
시대를
and
살아가고
in
있는
the
우리는
era of fourth
AI,
industrial revolution,
인공지능을 통한 맞춤학
AI
체제
driven,
및 능동적
customized learning
능력 함양을
curriculums and also
위한 교육에
active
주목하지
learning
않을 수
system
없게
are all
되었습니다.
something that merit
전
our
앞으로
close
교육의
attention.
승패는
So I
비대면
believe the
교육과
success or failure of
AI를 누가
future's
어떻게
education
합쳐
lie
활용하느냐에
in
따라 달려
who
있다고
will and
생각합니다.
how will we
최근
actively
교육부에서도
use their AI
포스트
and
코로나 시대
contactless
미래 교육
education. In
전환을
recent
위해
day, the Ministry
여러
of
가지
Education
지원
has
방안을
laid out various
발표했습니다.
supporting
원격
measures
수업,
to
운영
respond
계제
to the
개선,
post-COVID-19 era,
국내
improve
해외
regulations,
대학 간
remote
공동
learning, and
온라인
also joint
학습사
bachelor's
학위과정
and
운영
master's
등 기존의
degrees
방법을
courses for
뛰어넘어
domestic and
혁신적이고
overseas
과감한
universities.
정책들을
So we
한국
have been implementing
고등교육을
various
위한
innovative and bold policies
한
in
단계 더
Korea.
업그레이드
This will
할
definitely
것이
upgrade the
분명합니다.
higher education of Korea.
사회 경제적으로 평온한
So
시기에는
innovation
혁신이
really
일어나기
happens in
힘듭니다.
times of societal and economic
위기지만 오히려
peace.
혁신이 일어나고
COVID-19 is
4차
indeed a
산업혁명이 가속화되는
crisis,
기회가
but it
되는
could serve as opportunity
시기에
to
우리는
further
이 기회를
accelerate the
적극적으로
Industry
활용해야 합니다.
4.0, and we should take this
한동대학교는
opportunity.
세상을
And
변화시킬
Handong Global
국제적
University
지도자를
has
양성하기
been
위해
nurturing
일찍부터 개도국과
the global
협력하여
talents that can lead
지식과
the
경험을
change in
공유하고
around the world,
교육의
and
기회를
we've been
제공하고자
sharing
부단히
expertise and
노력해왔습니다.
experiences with developing
앞으로도
nations,
유네스코
thereby
유니트윈
contributing
사업을
to
통해
decent
교육
education
ODA
as well.
사업을 시행하는
And
기관들과
from
함께
now on, we will further
경험과 전략,
cooperate with those
노하우
institutions that
등을
implement
공유하고
ODA projects,
포스트
so we
코로나
can share
시대를
know-how and
대비한
experiences with
효과적이고
developing
혁신적인
nations,
고등교육
and
프로그램
we
및
will come
사업
up with
추진에
effective
박차를
and
가하겠습니다.
innovative
마지막으로
higher education
세미나에
programs.
참석하신
Once again, my
예비께 다시
special
한번
thanks
진심으로
goes out to
감사드리며
every one of those
참석하신
distinguished
모든
participants,
분들께
and
유익한 자리가
I
되기를
hope that
소망합니다.
this meeting
감사합니다.
can be all the more fulfilling for every one of you. Thank you.
네, 장 총장님 감사합니다. 이번엔
Thank you,
숙명여대 장윤금
President.
총장님.
Now we will hear from President Jang Yoon-gum from
안녕하십니까.
Soonmyung
숙명여대
Women's
대학교
University.
총장
Good afternoon. I am Chang Yoon-gun, President of Sookmyung Women's University. This year we have gone through this new normal era accelerated by COVID-19, and already the year 2020 is reaching its end. We're now seeing Christmas tree on the streets. So in the midst of all the difficulties, thank you for joining us in this meaningful occasion. I would like to thank all of our participants today. Especially, I would like to express my special gratitude to lawmaker and chairman of Education Committee Yoo Ki-hong, lawmaker Kim Byung-wook, and President Jang Seung-hoon. And online we're joined by President of Online National Open University Yoo Sun-ho and President of Korea National University of Education Kim Jong-woo. Thank you for your presence today. Today's seminar is organized under the title of Innovation for Sustainable Development in the Post-COVID-19 Era. So we plan to share the Unesco Unitwin program achievements and the lessons learned so far, and share various experiences and ideas of educational cooperation. Through this, we will discuss the viability of innovative international development cooperation models and the direction of higher education institutions for achieving sustainable development goals. So, because of COVID-19, hyperconnectivity, cooperation, and co-prosperity have become global topics. So we will do our best with our partner universities to narrow the gender data gap while promoting this to be our specialized research area by finding more new talented students. The UN SDG number 5, to achieve gender equality and empower all women and girls, is an urgent challenge faced not only by the developing countries, but also all of us and the world. And in these times of the new normal, training female leaders to work in various fields, especially in the field of information and communication technology, is fundamental than ever before. So as the foundation of a creative economy, ICT is an essential element for developing countries to grow and achieve SDGs. So in that sense, ICT education should be something more than just closing the information gaps between the developing and developed countries, but a means of leading the socio-economic development of the underdeveloped countries. So ICT education in the fourth industrial revolution is the most efficient and the most needed type of education that cultivates the talent needed for the country's socio-economic development. Thus, introducing various ICT education methods to developing countries and supporting them to grow ICT talents need constant support and help. And this is something we're constantly focusing on. The importance of ICT education and international development cooperation is a factor that we have been emphasizing. The support of Ministry of Education from 2016 for carrying out the Empower Women through ICT skills and leadership education, titled UNESCO Unitwin program. So I was the director of Asia ICT the commitment. So I have received many helps from many countries all over the world, and I've been doing the Unitwin projects in Asia. So I've been in these projects and I've been teaching many students for some years. But the most thing I felt good was that the student actually received goods from all over the Asian countries, so I was touched by the results. And now I have recently become the president of the Sookmyung University, and this is what I am most grateful for now. So I really hope that we can share all experience and we can reach our SDG goals. And I really hope this seminar can be a platform for that in the future, and I really hope this should be a precious.
Thank you for your warm remarks.
국회
Next, we'll hear congratulatory remarks from President Kim Young of the Board of Education.
네, 여러분 반갑습니다.
Greetings to you all.
국회
As
교육위원장을
introduced,
맡고
I am
있는
Ki Hong-yoo, President of the National
인사드리겠습니다.
Assembly's Education Committee.
네, 먼저 유네스코 유니트윈 주관대학
First of all,
주최하는 포스트 코로나 시대의 고등교육 혁신과
Innovation
미래
for Higher Education
세미나
in the
개최를
Post-COVID-19 Era
진심으로
seminar
축하드리겠습니다.
is now being held, and I'd like to
제가
congratulate on the
개원
opening
3번
of this
하는
seminar.
동안 유네스코 한국위원회를
During my term
담당하는
as a
국회
lawmaker,
교육위원회에서 계속 활동을 했고
I've been committed
또
in
17대
UNESCO
국회의원
Education
시절에는
Committee,
유네스코
also-
한국위원으로도
and
활동을
also
했었기
I
때문에
worked as a Korean
뭐
member
오늘
of
특별한
UNESCO
애정으로
Korean Committee.
오늘 이 행사에
And on this special
참석하게
occasion,
돼서 기쁘다는
it is
점을
my great pleasure to have you here
말씀드리겠습니다.
today.
특히 우리 두 분 장장 총장님께
First of all,
진심으로
my special
감사드리겠습니다.
thanks goes out to
한동대학은 뭐 워낙
and President
그
Sunung-jang.
국제 연대 활동이나
Handong Global University has
뭐
been
제가
committed to
감히
international
말씀드리면
cooperation
국제화
projects.
지수가 가장 높은
Well,
대학
I believe that
이죠.
Handong Global University
또 유네스코
boasts its
유니트윈에도
great
가장 먼저
international standard and
참여를
also
했고요.
it's been
숙명여대 장
participating to various
총장님은
projects of UNESCO.
총장은
And
이번에 취임하셨지만 사실
President
오래전부터
Yoon was actually inaugurated
유니트윈과
as
관련된
president
활동을
this year.
앞장서서
However,
해오셨습니다. 두
been
분 총장님
leading
비롯해서
those UNESCO
우리
projects. So
방송통신대학교 또 교원대학교에게도
I would like to extend my gratitude
감사드리겠습니다.
to Korean National Open
우리가
University and Korean
준비하지
National
않았던
University of
예상하지 않았던
Education for your
상태에서
tireless efforts.
코로나
Out
위기가
of all sudden,
닥쳐 있습니다.
COVID-19
뭐 간단하게
has
오늘
has
세미나
hit hard
주제와
us.
관련해 세 가지만 좀
Well, I would
말씀드리도록
like to talk
하겠습니다.
about major three themes of today's
코로나 시대는
seminar.
우리에게 단절과 차단을
COVID-19
강요하고 있지만
is forcing us to
사실은
be
그 속에서
isolated from society. However,
소통,
amidst it,
연결
communication, connectivity,
이것이 가장
solidarity
중요한 미덕이라고
have become
생각합니다.
all great virtues
이것이
of our
코로나
time.
시대를 이겨내는
And
우리의 무기이자
These are
우리의 지혜라고
weapons
생각합니다.
to overcome COVID-19, and at the same time, they
전
are
세계
serving as a
23개국,
great wisdom. So on
45개
that
대학이
note, 45
참여하는
universities from 23
유니트윈 활동을 통해서
countries are participating to
이
UNESCO
고등교육의
Unitwin, and through the
위기를
projects that we are having,
넘어서는데
I hope
앞장서서 노력해 주시기를
I hope that
당부드리겠습니다.
you make
코로나도
further
마찬가지죠.
efforts
어느
in leading
한
the
나라가
development of higher
모든 문제를 해결할
education
수
in this
없습니다.
crisis.
이
Just like
국제적인 문제이기
COVID-19,
때문에
we cannot
우리끼리
single-handedly address all the
연대하는
problems.
그런
Solidarity
지혜가 필요하다는 점에서
is something
오늘 세미나의
that we
의미가
need in this
크다고
time. And to that, on that note, today's seminar is all the more meaningful. The second thing I'd like to mention is that, as President Sunung-jang mentioned
재난혁명이라는 말이 있습니다.
previously, there is
평상시
so-called
같으면 하기 어려운
disaster
일을
revolution,
지금 재난
something
시기이기 때문에
that you
오히려 그
cannot
위기를
do
기회로 만들어서
easily in normal
혁명적
times
변화를
can be
이뤄낼
used
수
as
있다는
opportunities,
그런 뜻인 것 같습니다.
and you can use that as a
4차
revolutionary
산업혁명의 높은
change.
파고가
So,
닥쳐오는 과정에서
as we are
사실 우리
experiencing the
대한민국이 거기
huge
얼마나
waves
준비되어
of
있었는가를
the fourth industrial
자문해야
revolution,
될 시점에
it is
코로나
time
위기가
that
맞았습니다.
Korea should question its
이제 고등교육의
efforts,
혁신이
and
필요합니다.
innovation in
예를
higher
들면
education is what we need now.
미네르바
For
스쿨 같은
instance,
경우는
Minerva School
캠퍼스도 없고
has no campus.
뭐 복잡한 대학
And
구조 같지 않은
It's
대학임에도
not
불구하고
structured in complex
하버드
manner.
대학보다 더 높은
Compared to
선호도를
Harvard University,
가진 대학으로
however,
성장했습니다.
it is preferred by
그런데 아직
many
우리
students
고등교육에
around the world.
있어서는
However, in terms of our higher
얼마나 땅을
education,
가지고 있는지, 건물을 몇 채나
how
가지고
many
있는지
size of land you have, or how many
수익형
buildings you
기본 재산이 얼마나
have,
되는지,
or the
이런
assets
것으로
that you
대학을
have
평가하고
cannot be
규제하는 기준들이 아직
cannot be
있는
an
것이
indicator to
사실입니다.
determine the position of university.
그래서
So
이제는 이제 고등교육의 혁신도
from now
4차
on,
산업혁명 시대에 맞는
innovation of
그리고
higher education should
이
be
코로나
tailored
시대,
to
포스트
changes
코로나
brought by
시대에 맞는
Industry 4.0
방식으로
and
고등교육도
in a way that is
신화지 않으면 안
tailored
된다.
to the COVID-19
하는
crisis.
그런
We therefore need innovation
교훈을
in higher
얻는
education.
자리가
That's a lesson that we
되기를
learn
진심으로
from the
바라겠습니다.
current crisis.
마지막으로 오늘
Lastly,
뭐 교육부에서도 지금 예결위가 열려 있어서 아마 장관님, 차관님 대신에
on behalf of Vice Minister Baek Bom-hak, we are joined by
의원회
Unitwin,
장관님도
Director
마음은
General of
여기
Education.
계실 거라고.
But
알겠습니다.
I believe that Vice
제가 국회
Minister's words.
교육위원장 취임
with
이후에
us today.
지속적으로 강조하는 얘기가 있습니다.
Well, there is something that I've been constantly highlighting.
고등교육의 혁신이 가장 필요한 이 시점에 고등교육
In a
재정을
time where
안정적으로
we
확충하는
desperately
것이
need for
필요하다.
innovation in higher
지금
education,
전 세계에서 같이 하고 계십니다만
while everyone's are participating
우리나라
in this,
대학생 1인당
we need
교육비가
funding.
OECD 평균의 3분의 2에 불과합니다.
So the education expenditures
아까
accounts for 2/3 of
장 총장님께서도
the OECD member
말씀하셨듯이
states. As President Chang
지금
mentioned
원격
earlier,
교육과 AI 교육을
remote
통해서
learning,
이
AI,
위기를 극복해내야
and
된다고
other
할 때
educational
그것은
system
대학에만 맡겨져서는 안 된다고 생각합니다.
When it comes to overcoming crisis, this
정부가
cannot be only handled by universities. The government and public
나서서
organizations
고등교육이
should also
위기에 맞춰서
lead
혁신할 수 있도록
to
안정적인 재원을
bring
마련하는
innovation in higher education. So providing
사회가
funding
나서서
is something
책임 있게,
that requires
나서야 된다고
all
생각합니다.
our
그것이
responsible efforts.
고등교육의 경쟁력을
And
확보하고
that will finally help us to acquire competitiveness of higher education and also serve as a driving force in overcoming COVID-19.
교육위원장으로서 앞으로도
As a
여러 가지 노력을 하겠습니다.
president of Education Committee,
대학 재정의 안정적 확보를 위해서
to secure
계속 노력하겠다는
stable
말씀
funding
드리고
of universities,
우리 총장님들도
I would like to
이
promise
문제에
that I
관심
will
가지고
provide it
함께해 주시기를
accordingly. And
드린다는 말씀으로
I hope
제
that we all join our
인사를
forces
드리겠습니다.
together.
감사합니다.
감사합니다. 뜨거운 박수 보내주십시오. 예, 다음으로 우리
Thank you very much.
김병욱 의원님의 말씀을
Now
듣겠습니다.
we'll hear from lawmaker Kim Byung-uk.
예,
Thank you.
반갑습니다.
So good afternoon.
우리 유기영 위원장님 모시고 국회 교육위원회에서
So I am a member of the
김병욱 의원이라고 합니다.
Education Committee. I'm working with lawmaker Yoo Gi-hong.
하신 우리 총장님, 교수님들 그리고 여기 계신
And I want
분들
to
아마
thank
제가
all the
대학을
organizers of
가장
the
최근에
event.
졸업하지
And
않았을까 싶기도
Let me
합니다.
say, I should be the youngest here
99학번인데
because I entered university in 1995.
제가 생각했을 때 저희
So
뭐
from my
세대는
perspective, my generation,
마지막 아날로그 세대이면서
we
최초의
can
디지털 세대
call our generation the last analog and the first digital generation.
인터넷이 처음 나오기도 하고
We first used internet,
넘어가고
then we had the smartphone era.
초중고
Before that,
과정에서도
in the
아날로그
elementary,
환경에서
in the
성장을
in elementary schools and middle schools, we had this analog
뭐
environment.
인터넷 시대, 디지털 시대
So we're
이런
talking
말을
about the
처음에
internet
살았습니다만
times, the digital
사실,
times.
통신 수단이 좀 더 발달했을
But
뿐이었지.
we have
진정한
only a little
디지털
more
사회는
means of
지금까지
communication.
구축된 적이
But until now,
없었다고 저는 생각을 합니다.
I believe that a real digital society
지금
has
어떻게
not
보면
come
위기가 기회란
until
말이
now.
참 이게 식상한 표현일 수도 있는데
We're all talking
현재 이
about
코로나
crisis,
이 감염 위기가
and we're talking
대단히
about crisis as a
정말 그
new
우리 사회,
opportunity.
특히 교육
But
분야에서도
thinking about what COVID-19 has brought
폭발적인 그런
to,
그
especially to
점프를 할수
education,
있는 그런 계획이
maybe we have the opportunity to have the real jump, the real environment for the digital education. So maybe that's what COVID-19 has brought us.
비대면 교육, AI 교육
So we're doing this so-called untact education, but in the countries, in the area where they don't have capability for this untact and AI education, they will be fall behind. So this is a question about whether going digital or whether falling behind. So this is quite an extreme point of view, but for higher education also, but elementary education also. So during my time in the National Assembly, many members of the Education Committee, including lawmaker Yoo Gi-hong, the chairman, has talked about what the COVID-19 has brought to the classroom. They are making the classrooms collapse, and that is widening the gap, the educational gaps. On the other hand, the private education is growing larger, and there's more tendency towards these private educations, and we are having students that cannot access the private education, so the gap is getting wider. So the gap of money is becoming gap of education. So it's quite a vicious cycle. So the private education is should be serving as a ladder and bring activeness to education, but then it has become something that we pass generation to generation in a negative way. So this is what we're seeing right now, and I believe this is what we are looking at in other countries as well. So we have to think about what the goal of our education, to close the education gap, to make it better. So that is something that we should focus on. So all the stakeholders in education should come together to do our best. So in the past, we merged some schools and university, but now this is something more than that. All stakeholders should do what they can. Teachers, officials, we have to start everything from zero base, from a level playing ground. And like President Chang said, we should think about how we can build the platform for AI education, for untact education. So until now, education is about public sectors. The country was eliminating illiteracy, and that was what we were doing in the past. But now, we should cede the education from the public to private sectors. We have to make place for those private sectors to step up. We have to give them power for them to do what they can, so that they can do what they can. So we have to be the ones making this ecosystem. So this public sector should step behind. Because if the public and private education sectors are fighting each other, then all the problems will continue. And I believe the public education cannot win over the private education. And even more when we go on untact and AI more. So to solve these problems, we should work together, private and public sector all together. And the private sector should come up with all their imagination. So the public sector should provide the platform for the private sector for that. Then the price of private education will go down. So again, it will make the price go down. I have kids, and I am spending a lot of money for private education, and we all do. The parents do the children's homework, so we're not happy, and we have this low birth rate also. So in that sense, all here today are discussing the for higher education. But I believe this can be applied to lower education as well. Even when we put aside that, in general education, all the subjects we are talking about today would be applied to all levels of education. So thank you for the organizers for the event, President Chang Sun-hung and President Chang Yun-gum. Thank you again. And all the staff members from the universities. And thank you again for lawmaker Yu Gi-hong. Thank you again.
Thank you for your kind remarks.
예, 다음은 그 교육부의
Next,
최은희
we'll hear
국정연구원님
remarks
말씀이 있겠습니다.
from Director General Unitwin of Education.
네, 여러분 우선 그 작년에 이어서 올해에도
First,
이렇게 함께 여러분들과 함께 이 뜻깊은 자리에 있을 수
following last year,
있어서 무척 기쁘고
it is my great
감사합니다.
pleasure to
그리고
be with you
특별히
on this special occasion, especially
상당히 지금 분주한 일정인데도 이렇게
there has
자리
been many
함께 해주신
schedules going around in the National
위원장님과
Assembly
김병욱
that
의원님께
I would like to extend
제가
my
이
gratitude to
업무를
lawmaker Ki
담당하는
Hong-yu and Byung
소감
Kim for your
부서장으로서
visit,
진심으로
for
감사의
your
말씀
presence out of your busy schedule.
그리고 이미 말씀 주셨지만
And
저희 그
as
차관님께서
you
오늘 정말
mentioned
직접
before,
오셔가지고 함께 하시고 축하해 주시고 격려해 주시려고 하셨는데
well, Vice Minister
정말
Baek
오시지
Bum-bak
못해서 제게
was
꼭 좀
scheduled to
가서
be
말씀을
here,
전해드리고
but
그동안 정말 특별히 올해는 또 대학들이 너무
I'm here
어려우셨는데
on behalf
코로나
of him. Well, there
대응하면서
were many
정말 애쓰셨는데
difficulties in
누구
universities just
많으셨다는
due to
말씀을 드리고 오라
COVID-19, but
이렇게
I'd like to
전하셨다는 말씀을
say, send the
드립니다.
words of encouragement to every one of you for your
그래서
tireless efforts.
차관님께서 오시지 못했지만 제가
Although
차관님께서 준비해
Vice
주신
Minister
인사
Baek Bum-bak
말씀 낭독해
cannot
올리도록 그렇게
join you in
하겠습니다.
person, but I'm going to
안녕하십니까.
read out the
교육부
remarks on
차관
behalf of him.
박백범입니다. 유네스코 유니트윈 주관대학 공동 세미나 개최를 진심으로 축하드립니다. 뜻깊은 자리에서 축하 인사를 전하게 되어 매우 기쁘게 생각합니다. 먼저 이번 세미나를 위해 귀한 시간을 내어주신 유기홍 위원장님, 김병욱 의원님, 장순웅 한동대학교 총장님, 그리고 장윤금 수명여대 총장님을 비롯한 각 대학 관계자 여러분께 감사의 말씀을 드립니다. 존경하는 내일빈 여러분, 2020년 전 세계는 코로나19라는 감염병으로 큰 어려움을 겪고 있습니다. 유엔의 SDG 이행 성과 보고서에 따르면 글로벌 팬데믹에 따른 경제 성장 둔화로 20년 만에 처음으로 빈곤율이 급증했고 불평등은 더욱 심화될 것으로 전망됩니다. 가장 기본적인 기본권 조차 보장되기 어려워진
It is a
국가들이
difficult
많습니다.
time, but that we
그
cannot
분야의
access to
국제
basic
협력과
rights of
연대가
education.
그 어느
So
때보다도
solidarity
절실한
and
상황입니다.
cooperation in education are
유니트윈
direly in
사업은
need more than any
우리
times.
국내외 대학 간
Unitwin
교류와 협력을 통해서
project
교육의
allows
불평등을
the universities to
해소하고
cooperate women
인류의 지속
abroad
가능한
and
발전을
to
도모하는
foster
이 어려운
sustainable
시기에
development in
더욱 빛이
humanity.
나는 의미
And this
있는
kind of
사업이라고
project is all the more
생각합니다.
meaningful,
국내에서는
especially in these
2007년도에
difficult
한동대
times.
사업단을 시작으로
Well, starting in
숙명여대,
2007,
방송통신대,
Handong University first joined
한국교원대로
Unitwin, and then
참여대학이
Sumyoung Women's
확대되었고
University and Korea
각
National
대학의
Open
특성과
University and
장점을
Korea National
살려서
University Education
전 세계
followed
유수대학과
suit. And
활발한
so along
교류를
with
해오고
many prominent
계십니다.
universities around the world, we've
한동대학교는
been
기업가 정신을
engaging in
갖춘 인재
various
양성과
partnerships as
창업 역량
well.
강화 부문을
And
헌신해서 올해
Handong University
아세안
started
창업 혁신
capability
센터를
enhancement
설치하고
program.
숙명여자대학교는 여성 리더십 부문, 한국방송통신대학교는 원격교육부문, 한국교원대학교는 교원 양성 부문에서 개도국의 교육 역량 강화를 위해 다각적인 노력을 기울이고 계십니다. 앞으로도 이 자리에 계신 이
enhance
4개
capability of
대학이
education in developing
대한민국의
nations.
대표
I hope
대학이라는
that four universities
자긍심을
that are
가지고
presented here
서로 힘을
are
합치고
feel proud of
긴밀하게
themselves.
연대하고 교류하셔서
And I
우리
look forward to further
협력국의
cooperation to
인재
take place down
지속
the road
가능한
so that
발전을
we
위해서
can nurture future
힘써주시기를
talents. And also,
부탁드립니다.
I'd like to further ask for
특히
your continuous
코로나19라는 위기를
efforts
우리
in contributing to
대한민국은
higher
대학과
education.
국가가
Amidst
협력해서
current
잘
crisis,
극복하고 있는데
Korea has
이러한
been
경험을
overcoming crisis
공유해서
along with
개발도상국의 모든
cooperation
학생들이
with many universities.
상황에서도
And building on this
중단 없는
experience,
교육을
I
받을
hope
수
that
있도록
developing
돕는데
nations can have
리더십을
access to
발휘해
education
주시기를
without any setbacks.
기대합니다. 끝으로 오늘 유니트윈 주간대학
closing,
공동 세미나를 통해
Through the
그간의
joint seminar
고등교육
of
모델
UNESCO
방향을
Unitwin,
진단하고
we would like to map out the future direction of higher education and also
소중한 시간이
the international
되시기를
cooperative
바랍니다.
strategies down the road.
다시 한번
Once
이번
again,
세미나에 참석해 주신 내외
my special
비님들께
thanks goes out to all distinguished participants for your presence, and the Ministry of Education
적극
will
지원하도록
actively support
하겠습니다.
UNESCO Unitwin
고맙습니다.
project. Thank you.
체육장님 감사를 드립니다.
Thank you, Director General.
다음으로는 우리 참석자들 단체 사진.
Next, we will have a photo session.
줌에 계신 외국
So if you're
교수님들
joining
한
us
1분만
online,
저희가 허락해 주시면
please let us
단체
1
사진
minute.
찍고
We
바로
will have a
시작하도록
photo
하겠습니다.
session.
얼른 좀
So and we will be right back. So please come to the front, to the stage.
예, 이제 자리에 앉아 주시길 바랍니다.
So please remain
네,
seated.
자리에 앉아 주시길 바랍니다.
Please.
예, 안내 한 가지만 드리겠습니다.
So brief announcement.
그다음에 이제 방통대하고 교원대 총장님 영상을 저희들이
Next,
보고요.
We
그다음에
will
개도국의
watch video remarks
온라인
from
영상을
President
볼
Sunuryu
거고요.
and Cho Moo-kim.
그다음에
And also then we'll
한동대학교
followed by
숙명여대,
their remarks from
방통대,
developing
교원대
nations universities.
발표자들께서는
And
이 앞자리 나와서 발표를 좀 해주십시오. 네,
presenters,
돌아가시면서
please come up to the stage and also give a presentation. And your speech should be limited to 7 minutes, and the discussion should be remained in your seats.
유순호 총장님
First,
영상부터 보도록
Let's
하겠습니다.
watch
네.
video remarks from President Yoo Soo-no.
대학의 원격 교육의 역량 강화는 대한민국의 고등교육을 대표하는 진정한 소프트 파워로 유네스코와 전 세계가 인정하는 분야입니다. 유네스코 유니티엔 사업이야말로 전 세계의 다양한 고등교육 기관에 대한민국의 교육 노하우를 효율적으로 전달하고 공유할 수 있는 훌륭한 틀이라고 생각합니다. 앞으로도 유니티엔 사업을 통해서 대한민국의 교육 노하우를 여러 국가들과 나눌 수 있도록 우리 4개 대학은 협력하고 노력할 것입니다. 존경하는 참석자 여러분, 여러분께서 잘 아시겠지만 더 이상 강조할 필요도 없이 지식과 인재는 국가 발전의 원동력입니다. 옛말에 1년을 내다보면 씨를 뿌리고 10년을 내다보면 나무를 심고 100년을 내다보면 교육을 하라고 했습니다. 교육을 통한 인재 양성은 우리 모두의 바람이고 희망입니다. 다시 한번 유네스코 유니티인 주간대학 공동 세미나에 참석해 주신 여러분께 감사드리며 여러분의 앞날에 항상 건강과 행복이 함께 하시기를 진심으로 기원합니다. 감사합니다.
Next, we will hear remarks from President Cho Moo-kim from Korea National University of Education.
네, 다음은 교원대 총장님 영상을 보도록 하겠습니다.
안녕하십니까. 한국교원대학교 총장 김종우입니다. 먼저 이번 행사를 함께 축하하면서 행사를 마련해 주신 한동대 장순홍 총장님, 숙명여대 장윤검 총장님께 감사드립니다. 또한 바쁘신 와중에도 귀한 시간을 쪼개어 이 자리에 참석하여 주신 국회 교육위원회 유기용 위원장님, 김병웅 의원님, 그리고 교육부 박백범 차관님, 오늘 발표와 토론을 위해 수고해 주신 많은 분들께 깊이 감사드립니다. 우리는 지금 코로나로 인해 불확실성의 시대를 살아가고 있습니다. 하루에도 수십만 명이 감염되고 있고 경제는 불황의 늪에 빠져 있습니다. 그런데 우리 인류는 오랜 역사를 거치면서 수많은 위기를 겪어봤지만 우리가 겪은 모든 위기는 항상 더 나은 질서를 구축하기 위한 출발점이었습니다. 우리는 이번 위기도 결국은 이겨낼 것이고 지금까지 그랬던 것처럼 새로운 질서를 구축해낼 것입니다. 유니트윈 프로그램은 교육을 통한 삶의 변화, 빈곤 퇴치, 평화 정착을 통해 지속 가능한 개발을 추구한다고 하는 유네스코의 목표를 실천하기 위한 것입니다. 2007년 한동대에서 먼저 시작되었고 숙명여자대학교, 한국방송통신대학교로 확장되었고 2018년 저희 한국교원대학교가 합류하게 되면서 프로그램을 지속적으로 다양화시켜 왔습니다. 1984년 개교 이래 저희 한국교원대학교는 교육 분야에서 선도적인 역할을 수행하면서 우수한 교원을 양성하고 현장 교원 연수를 다양화하고 교육 연구 역량을 강화해 왔습니다. 이런 역량을 바탕으로 한국교원대학교는 유니트윈 프로그램을 통해 개도국의 실천적인 교사 교육의 모델을 제안하고 지속 가능한 발전과 교육 가치를 실현하고자 합니다. 한국교원대학교는 개발도상국의 교육 과정을 연구하고 현지 맞춤형 컨설팅을 제공하고자 합니다. 대면 수업이 어려운 현실에서 교수법과 융합교육 관련 온라인 콘텐츠를 개발하여 협력국과 공유하고자 합니다. 이후 코로나가 안정되면 협력국의 교사를 초청하고 본교 교수를 파견하여 다양한 교육 협력 수요에 부응하도록 하겠습니다. 이를 통해 한국교원대학교는 이 프로그램에 함께 참여하고 있는 한동대학교, 숙명여자대학교, 한국방송통신대학교와 긴밀하게 협력함으로써 인류 전체를 위한 보다 나은 미래를 만드는 데 이바지하겠습니다. 저는 오늘 이 자리가 이런 긴밀한 협력의 출발점이 되었으면 합니다. 감사합니다.
Thank you very much, President Kim of the KNUE. Now we'll listen to the Minister, Honorable Excellency Dr. Mekuria Haley, the Ethiopia. He was the Minister for Urban Development, Housing and Construction Ministry from 2010-2016, and he got the PhD from the KAIST recently. Mekuria Haley, say hello. Are you there? Okay. Let's listen to let's watch the video.
For this seminar, I am going to present on the global knowledge collaboration towards reimagining higher education in post-COVID-19 Africa. In the presentation, I am going to address the background, e-learning potential in progress, the strategies to address e-learning in Africa, the role of the national government and global stakeholders, and with some conclusions. As we already know, in 2020 spring, there was a demand to shift the face-to-face education system to online. And due to this reason, developed countries switched from face-to-face education system to online classes. When we see the African case, African universities, it was a dead year and a face-to-face because the education system was designed face-to-face and offline, and it was very difficult for most of the universities to change to online education classes. Meanwhile, in this fall, other developed countries also continued their education system in online, and African countries are required to change their face-to-face education system to online. Otherwise, millions of students will be left in dests or inequalities as relative to the context. When we see the context and the situation of the African ICT resources, they do have a significant portion of coverage in broadband, and based on this broadband, only Maghreb and Southern African countries are using these potentials. Others need a strong support to improve their online education system. When we see how they are managing their resources for higher education, their budget allocation is very, very low. And due to that, they do have also very low researchers across African countries. To change this scenario, there are critical success factors which countries should take. Applications, availability and use, facility of e-learning improvement, especially related to ICT, online governance, digital skill, e-health research, infrastructure developments are very critical success factors. To improve such a situation, national governments should have clear policy and policy commitment, engagement of stakeholders, device and application availability, broadband internet availability and affordability are very critical responsibility of national governments. Global stakeholders also should give a hand for African countries when they are developing a learning ecosystem, especially in sharing knowledge and developing ICT infrastructure and institutional development, very critical under the auspices or under the umbrella of African Union designing different strategies. So when we conclude, there is a potential in the African countries when we see the ICT, and there is a need to reimagine and research higher education unlike anything we have seen before. To bring this change, African governments and stakeholders need to work together in order to avail the opportunities to the millions students across the continent. Thank you for listening. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you very much, Minister Halle. And next is Mr. Wesley Tatter, and the UNESCO will make a presentation on behalf of us. Mr. Tatter, now it's your turn. Hello. Yeah. Let's go.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Wesley Teeter, and I'm here at UNESCO's Asian Pacific Regional Bureau for Education in Bangkok, Thailand. It's a great pleasure to be here with you for the UNESCO Unitwin 2020 seminar, and particularly because I am funded by the Republic of Korea Funds and Trust, something Professor An and others may know, and I'm eternally grateful for, and UNESCO is grateful for. I just wanted to take a few minutes to deal with some of the very interesting questions that you raised, and I got to do this rather quickly, but I think we could have I'd be very interested to follow your conversation after this. What will be key strategies for innovation in higher education in the post-COVID-19 era? Well, I think to start to frame the problem, I think this quote is quite significant, and I just want to read it for you. We are where we are, not only because of the nature, politics, and capitalism, but at the root of it all is us, ourselves, the universities. We are inadequate. We are wholly, universally inadequate to what lies ahead in terms of the future of our species and our relationship with this beautiful planet that we are all dependent on. And I raised that, Professor Michael Crow raised this at a higher education sustainability initiative, and I think it's an appropriate and provocative starting point to think about our role in educating every generation that's come before and where we are today. Where we are today in terms of the continuing challenges around extreme poverty, around climate change, around mass migration, a number of transnational challenges that we face. And the progress we've made is simply insufficient. We have much more to do. So some framing principles I think are interesting in the context of COVID-19. So Professor Libby Wong and I did this together, and I just want to read out 3 brief action principles that I think might be interesting for your discussions today. The first is focus on building a holistic and inclusive ecosystem for online and blended learning. From policy level to individual learner, what does that mean to create this enabling and holistic environment for everyone to access quality higher education, including infrastructure, for example? Number 2, promoting fair and transparent recognition of diverse modes of learning. This speaks to the need for effective and clear learning outcomes. So the Tokyo Convention is our kind of anchor in how we do this at UNESCO Bangkok, because that deals with how we promote fair and transparent recognition of qualifications throughout the Asia-Pacific region. And as you drill down, that comes down to how do we understand and quality assure learning. Number 3, ensuring that higher education teaching, research, and service are relevant to local needs. And I think perhaps that's the most relevant for your seminar today, is to think about what really place-based relevant means going forward and how that's changing in the context of COVID-19. How are we preparing our students for life and work? This is a constantly evolving question, and I think, again, down from mission level all the way down to individual learners, how are we creating place-based relevance through our teaching, research, and service? Again, I throw that out as a chance for reflection. Number 2, in higher education, what are the responses of UNESCO Bangkok in the face of COVID-19? That is a broad question, of course, and very important. I'll give you one slide as I wrap up. I think starting at the highest level, the mission of UNESCO and how we frame our work in higher education is looking at evidence. How we promote an evidence-based approach to policy and practice to help us understand and plan for the future of higher education and research in Asia Pacific. So that informs our actions and how we support, for example, Sustainable Development Goal 4, 4.3, and 4B. That's our work primarily on higher education to ensure equal access to quality tertiary education, including university. On the left there, you'll see enabling access to higher education, enabling access. So we focus, for example, on technology for teaching and learning. We have a blended learning self-assessment tool, looking again at those dimensions of how do we build institutional capacity to deliver blended learning. That's an area of research and development. Again, several years of work on blended learning that's ongoing for promoting a deeper and institutional commitment to access and quality. On the other side, on the right, you'll see promoting quality and relevance. And this is where you'll see the Korea Funds and Trusts come involved, where we're drilling down to how we prepare learning outcomes, how do we draft learning outcomes, and how do we put them in the context of a qualifications framework. And that's to promote flexibility in the higher education systems for life and work so that students, based on levels of learning, based on levels of competencies, that they can move in and out of formal and non-formal learning. So national qualification frameworks are one way to do that. And we find it helpful in the sense of how do we build capacity for stakeholder engagement. So the Korea Funds and Trust Project is focused on that capacity building process. And again, linking back to what evidence means in that local context. And at the heart of it is advocating for fair recognition. So this is a legally binding convention. Korea has ratified the Tokyo Convention, as have 8 others. So there are 9 state parties at the moment that have joined. And all the way back since since it commenced in 2018, we now have 9 parties. And I think this is incredibly important going forward in the context of COVID-19 because we need a communication tool, an understanding of what it means to promote fairness and transparency as we go through these rapid changes in the transformation of higher education going forward. I won't have time to say much more, but truthfully, I would love to be a part of your discussions on interdisciplinary thinking, on the futures of higher education, place-based relevance. Please let me know how your conversations go. And I just wanted to say thank you very much for this opportunity to be with you here today. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Wesley Teta. It was an impressive speech. And Honorable Excellency, Dr. Mercury Haley and Dr. Wesley Teta, I will give you 10 seconds if you have more words for us. Why don't you say a few words? 10 minutes, 10 seconds, sorry. Wesley Teta or the Honorable Excellency Mercury Haley?
Yeah,
Thank you very much. Are you listening?
Yeah, we are listening. Yeah.
Okay. 안녕하세요.
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 네.
I think from the seminar host, I am expecting to distribute the document, which is in Word and PowerPoint. The presentation, you gave me only 3 minutes, and I couldn't deliver the message very well. My point in this juncture, which I want to deliver, is that Unitwin and UNESCO has very big responsibility to intervene to help Africa on online learning. So Handong University can be the point, just the entrance point. Here in Ethiopia, the African Union headquarters is located in Addis Ababa. I can be the focal person to talk to African Union and to bridge between Handong University and the African Union to share the knowledge, the global experience, so to make a dynamism on this juncture, which I want to underline. So this seminar is really, really timely, very important, and not only as a knowledge and experience sharing, but also we can move to practical initiative. That is my recommendation, Professor Ahan, and this is my point, which I want to add on besides the presentation. I ask for the host to distribute the document concerning the main points which I want to outline.
Miguel Roberto, are you there? Okay. Video, please.
COVID-19 has perturbed all sectors of society, and the education sector has been one of the most affected. Based on recommendations by experts and specialized international agencies, ASEAN member states implemented measures such as physical distancing to control the spread of the virus. While these measures have been crucial in containing the virus, they interrupt the normal way our societies function, and one of the sectors most affected has been education. In a recent rapid assessment of COVID-19 effects undertaken for ASEAN, it was reported that around 152 million children and youth in the region were most likely affected by the widespread school closures brought about by movement restrictions and social distancing. These measures were necessary to protect the health and safety of students, teachers, and communities. However, these may also cause long-term learning losses or lead students to drop out entirely from school. The pandemic may also exacerbate inequalities owing to gender, poverty, and disability. To ensure inclusivity and support vulnerable students during this crisis, ASEAN member states have undertaken the following actions. First, identify and address the gaps in learning that students may suffer due to a lack of access to online learning environments. Second, provide access to necessary equipment through loans and donations. Third, utilize SMS and social media to reach out to students, particularly those living in rural and remote areas. And fourth, provide food subsidies and cash assistance to low-income families. To mitigate the possibility of permanent learning losses or student dropouts, the ASEAN education sector has been working doubly hard to continue the delivery of quality education. Most visibly, ASEAN member states have rapidly introduced and mainstreamed alternative modes of teaching and learning, particularly those delivered online. Looking ahead, therefore, one of the strategies that will help ASEAN adapt to the post-pandemic world is to digitally transform education systems throughout the region, including higher education. Indeed, the Ministers of Education of ASEAN recently convened the Conference on the Digital Transformation of Education Systems throughout ASEAN to bring attention to the role that technology will play in addressing the disruptions that the COVID-19 pandemic has wrought to the delivery of education. The Ministers of Education resolved to, among others, reimagine the region's education systems through the integration of technology and education, and ensuring that curricula inculcate both technical and 21st century skills among students. Private sector participation was also highlighted as a critical element in this reimagining of education systems within the region. The role of children and young people was also regarded as a driver in enabling this transformation. To some, the COVID-19 pandemic has highlighted some unresolved issues in education. Policymakers must therefore strive to minimize long-run learning losses, prevent dropouts, make education and learning more inclusive, and better integrate technology and education. However, this crisis can also be an excellent opportunity for governments across ASEAN to reimagine education and training, particularly at the higher education level, with a view towards ensuring quality, equity, and efficiency. Thank you very much and good day.
Next, we'll listen to the President Hansen.
I wish to greet everybody in this forum a pleasant afternoon. Thank you, Handong Global University, for organizing this 2020 UNESCO Unitwin Joint Seminar on Sustainable Development Capacity Building in a post-COVID environment. Indeed, cooperation and collaboration among higher education institutions is needed now more than ever in order to make our educational systems more inclusive. The invitation asks us to reply to 2 questions. My answers to these questions will be drawn from our experience here at the University of the Assumption. So first, what innovation strategies do we need to implement in the post-COVID-19 era? Among many, let me just mention 3 things. 1, in a post-COVID-19 era, we need to assess learning outcomes and offer remediation. Whether we like it or not, the unplanned and abrupt transition to home-based education will surely create gaps in learning outcomes, simply because we thought the use of online platform would just be temporary. 2, we need to realign our educational priorities, especially giving more emphasis on blended learning. Which courses or activities can be better done off-campus, and which of them definitely necessitate on-campus presence. 3, we need to enhance our mental health care programs. Our 3-month experience of home-based education revealed the reality of tech fatigue among teachers and students, the necessity of wellness breaks, and the need to address stress due to the blurring of boundaries between school and home. To the second question, what are the responses of higher education institutions in the Philippines in the face of COVID-19? I will not dwell on the concrete responses that universities and colleges are doing in the face of the current pandemic. I would rather focus on the questions or issues that we need to respond to on a daily basis. In other words, responses to these questions or issues need to be improved upon endlessly, revised and reinvented if necessary. These are the questions and issues that cropped out in our short experience of home-based education. All these concerns are related to the realization of learning outcomes. First, how can we improve remote learning experience to make it more engaging? How do we design and develop or make better modules and online course materials? How do we improve online pedagogy? How do we craft more reliable assessments of student learning? How do we facilitate community building and form connections in remote learning mode? How can we enhance and care more for the mental health of all stakeholders, teachers, students, school personnel, parents, and guardians? As I already intimated, we don't have definitive carved-in-stone solutions to these issues. Our responses to them are for the most part experimental, exploratory. Hopefully, upon discovering what helps and what doesn't, we would be able to come up with more solid responses and strategies. This is all I can share for now. Thank you for your time.
Okay, thank you very much. I would like to give you another 10 seconds to Mr. Miguel Roberto and Dr. Joselito Hansen. Mr. Miguel Roberto, are you there? Do you have some words? Oh, okay. Dr. Hansen, is there anything you would like to add? I think the connection is not good enough. Then we'll move on to the professors here. Each of you will be given, Dr. Hansen, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Yeah. Is there anything you would like to add for 10 seconds?
Okay. The only thing that I want to emphasize right now is how to promote inclusivity in our educational systems. I think that's very important, no? Because a lot of people, I think, are being left out, especially in the mode of delivery that we have now. So the more universities cooperate and collaborate on how to make education more inclusive, I think it will be the better for all of us.
Okay, thank you very
Thank
much.
you.
Thank you. Now we'll turn to the professors here. You go out and you have 7 minutes. We'll give you a notice when it is 60 minutes past.
Thank you very much. Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Ki-sun Yu. I'm a professor of Handong Global University. I'm very pleased to get together here and share our project to you in spite of the Corona-19 situation. Today's joint seminar is more meaningful to me because we can get together with our partner university from abroad in Korea under the UNESCO Unitwin umbrella in spite of the coronavirus situation. Today, I'd like to present 3 things, including a brief overview of our UNESCO Unitwin project, and secondly, I will introduce what we did so far in year 2020. And finally, I will present what we will focus on over the next few years. That is our plans on how to overcome the challenge brought by the corona situation to achieve a new strategic leap forward. Let's move to the overview. As you know, Handong Global University was the first designated as a UNESCO Unitwin host university in Korea in 2007. Under the title of Capacity Building for Sustainable Development of a Developing Country, and started the project in the sponsorship with the Ministry of Education from 2010. In partnership with more than 30 institutions over 18 countries, we have been implementing the following 6 programs, such as a next generation entrepreneurship training, holistic community development program, and the starting up, incubating and developing program, next urban development in developing country, and the OCW-OEL initiative, finally the joint education program. Now I'd like turn into the main topic for today's presentation, which is what and how we did our project in year 2020. I'm going to highlight some examples, though there are so many other things we did. First of all, Rwanda case, despite of the corona on and offline quite successfully. Before the pandemic, we visited to Rwanda as a part of the next generation entrepreneurship training and held training of trainers on the topic of artificial intelligence. We also discussed the detail on overall implementation plan about NG80 with the integrated Polytech Regional College in Rwanda. Next is a child case. We held the online design sprint camp in Chad as a part of the startup incubating and development program. Due to the coronavirus, we used the Zoom and provide IT-based entrepreneurship education in the local young adult in Chad. Despite a variety of restrictions, we could see that we would resume education through online platform. Next is a Myanmar case. We held the online design camp for joint education program in Myanmar. It was also conducted through Zoom, and it provided education on smart and sustainable urban planning and the technology application to the students from Mandalay Technological University in Myanmar. Next is a Nepal case. We also have a joint education program in Triban University in Nepal and also UFE in Mongolia. We established 2 years curriculum to foster future leaders with the social entrepreneurship and the social problem solving capability. We have been implementing the program since year 2014 with more than 100 graduates. 100 graduates. Through June, we conducted more than 8 sessions of the reader lectures and feedback, including 4 days summer camp. We have regular meeting with the TU and UFE faculty members to ensure continuity of cooperation in the face of COVID-19. This is statistics of our accomplishment. Actually, we achieved 82% in the number of educational program and 76% in number of program participants. Now, I wanted to explain more about the response to the coronavirus. While providing on and offline education, we try to respond to COVID-19 and look into the impact of it. We wrote 2 research papers on the impact of the coronavirus on the business in Nepal and Cambodia. We also organized 2 COVID-19 response webinars, and President and professors of a partner university joined in the discussion over 10 countries. Through the discussion, we could learn the current situation in developing country and get an idea of how we will cooperate in preparing for the post-COVID-19. On the top of that, to help the understanding the post-COVID-19, we made the lecture video series on how COVID-19 will change the world. And we supported the capacity building of the particular institution. We sent each partner institution a letter to find out their needs, and as for their request, we supported lectures, books, webcam, and the Zoom meeting account. Here is a picture related with the donation of the books. Now, I would like to move on to another part of the presentation, which is the strategic priority of our project for the post-COVID-19 situation. We are going to pursue our future strategic plan in 3 directions. First one is strengthening research capacity. We encourage the professors in the partner institution to write the research paper, and here are some research papers for the Sustainable Development Research Conference in this year. For the next few years, we will focus on the strengthening our research capacity, and we have a plan of publishing a journal and creating a research association. And in addition to this type of research capacity building, we are trying to grow the Handong ASEAN Startup and Innovation Center into an on-offline learning hub. We will conduct educational program and business idea competition in partnership with the center in Myanmar, Cambodia, Vietnam, and Indonesia, and other countries. We do our best to customize the curricula to local situations so that social issues and problems in developing countries can be solved locally. Next is about the expanding joint MBA degree program. We currently operate the joint education bachelor and MBA degree program with the university in Nepal and Mongolia and some other countries. But as the Korean Minister of Education recently allowed the online program for the post-COVID-19, it presents a new opportunity for students in developing countries to acquire joint degree. We are now in the middle of the designing the programs, and the new program will be a compromise on on-ground courses and online courses and some intensive project camp. The crisis has created the largest disruption to education in history. At the same time, it stimulated innovation. We will keep seeking innovative approaches in support of capacity building of sustainable development in developing countries. This is the end of my presentation. I would like to thank you and welcome any comments and suggestions in the discussion session.
Dr.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. You stay there, and then we'll listen to the questions from Dean Chibrata and Dr. Anna. Anna, will you go first? Lady first?
Okay, thank you very much, Professor. Good afternoon, honorable guest. I'm very glad to be with you today. COVID-19, big challenge that Peru faced, trying
And Dean Chibrata, your questions, please.
Okay. Thank you very much, Professor Chinwon An, who have a good facilitators, and thank you for Global Handong University who organized this program. It's such a great opportunity for all partners, including Cambodia, to join and to listen and experience that our speaker have mentioned a moment. And I can see that this program is very useful. Since I start to work with the Professor Chen Won An since 2010 until now, I can see that the member have growing. The partner have numbers of partner growing from until now 18 country already. So this is a good achievement. I appreciate very much. And I have thank you again for the professor who presented about it.
Dean Chibrata, it seems that you did not turn on the video. Please turn on your video, please.
Okay. Sorry. Okay. Because the internet is not so strong. Sometimes it disconnected. That's why I turn off. Okay. So I have after I listen to the presentation, I can see that a lot of achievement that the Twin program, UNESCO Twin program, and Handong Global University have put more effort so far. So my question is about, what are your strategy to achieve this mission? Since you are talking about strategy, priority number 2. I'm talking about priority number 2, which you think about set up the hub center, for startup, Korean Asian startup hub center. So because I just want to know, like, any strategy that you have a clear map right now, because this from now on it's a new ways of providing material and developing program for education. So even lecture, even professors and students need to change their behaviors, their attitude toward teaching and toward studying. And so, just what is your mission that you can achieve this strategy? Yeah. And do you see any challenging that may happen after COVID, and how you going to solve that problem? Thank you.
Dr. Yu?
Okay. Hi, Professor Anna Gomez. Thank you for your question. Actually, you asked me about the joint education program with your degree program, actually, right? Yes, of course. We are planning to start the virtual and on-ground joint program with our partnership university. Actually, according to our Ministry of Education, allow us to do the virtual education with the international universities. So we are preparing for it, and probably, hopefully, next coming summer, we will make a new program, and we will provide you the opportunity to apply. That's thank you. And Professor Rata, can you hear me?
Yep.
Okay, thank you very much for your question again.
Yep.
So you asked me about the strategy for the expanding our current center to the hub, right? That's your question, right?
Yeah.
Yes, actually, we have a strategy to build up the education platform. Actually, platform is the currently very, very important, strategy in business and or some other areas, even in the education area. So not only we developed the on-ground hub or center, we wanted to develop the education program on the base of the web based system. That's our strategy. Okay. Do you have Any other question? That's all?
Yeah, no more. Yeah.
Okay, thank you very much.
I know that in Peru and in Cambodia, the higher education is halted because you are not allowed to open the universities. Am I right? So in the next year, we are going to fill the gap left by the COVID-19. With the help of the Korean Minister of Education, we'll have strengthened the virtual education, online educations. Okay, now we'll turn to the Dr. Jung-in Cho from Sungmyeong University.
So, honorable guests and distinguished faculty members, I'm very honored to be here. I'll share Sungmyeong experience with you guys. And my name is Jung-in Cho, and I'm Executive Director of Asia Pacific Women's Information Network Center at Sungmyeong Women's University. I know it's a long name. And I teach development studies at the School of Global Service at Sungmyeong. And my lifetime question as a researcher, as a professor, is that what would be the most effective development strategy as we can have? Of course, I always speculate that question, but there is no one-shot solution. But I strongly believe in women's empowerment, and ICT skills can make a dramatic change in South Korea as well as many developing countries as well. So next, please. Oh, sorry about that. So the reason why I strongly believe in women empowerment is that lately there was this kind of striking report from Goldman Sachs that if we can have a full level of women empowerment achievement in South Korea, as we struggle with low economic growth era right now at the moment, our GMP growth rate can be increased up to 14% at the national level. Isn't it striking? So even in South Korea, women empowerment can change many things. I think this kind of economic miracle can happen in many different parts of the world as well. So Sungmyeong Women's University, as a leading university to foster women's leadership since a long time ago, UNESCO has designated AP Wink as a UNESCO chair institution back in 1998. And since then, we have accumulated our development strategy expertise and merits over a long time. And since 1998, AP Wink dedicated for international cooperation projects. And then we are chair institution for women empowerment and ICT. So since then, since 2015, we're only 5 years old in terms of UNESCO Unitwin business project, but I think we have made some significant progress and achievement for the very effective implementation of the UNESCO Unitwin program. And here's our precious partner universities in all over the world, especially in Asia Pacific area. Right, we have a partnership with 16 different universities in 9 different countries. Right? And then I always get surprised how these universities, students, faculty members are so dedicated, and they're very enthusiastic for every single program that we provide for them. So it's very exciting, and I feel very honored to have to implement this kind of program at Sungmyeong. So we want to increase educational opportunities for women through ICT and leadership training, and we are designed to foster gender equality perception in many different countries, and ICT skills and leadership education to foster female talents who can contribute to their socioeconomic development. And we support teaching and research capacity development in many different countries. So joint research, ICT leadership and local training, and advanced workshop, educational content development. And I want to emphasize about the importance of blended learning platform as we struggle with COVID-19 era, right? So as a teacher, as a professor, I always struggle which kind of teaching method would be the best desirable teaching method to make an alive classroom, right? So Soongmyung has adopted a new teaching method which is very innovative, which is so-called flipped learning or blended learning, BL, right? So say I teach a 3 credits class every Tuesday and Thursday, right? And then I uploaded the recorded lecture, and then every Thursday I have a real-time Zoom class with my students. You know that Korean students can be very shy. Sometimes I have to be very patient with their active participation and things like that. But the difference in terms of blended learning is that students are supposed to master all the knowledges and contents based on uploaded recorded lecture, and then they have to bring more questions and more contribution from their outside research, right? So that these days, I am really enjoying my BL new teaching type, new teaching method, which is a blended learning class, right? And then I have so much alive and energetic classroom with my shy Korean students. They are not shy anymore. So we have tried to adopt this kind of innovative new teaching method with this UNESCO Unitwin program, right? So that with a Zoom class, with real-time class, so professors, our enthusiastic professors would have much more alive and interesting discussion with students in Cambodia and Indonesia and Laos and things like that. So maybe that teaching method can be a more effective and a desirable teaching method for everybody. I really strongly recommend that kind of teaching method. So let me skip a few slides. So Soongmyung ICT and Leadership Workshop for our students in Soongmyung. Also, there are ICT and Leadership online training with a Zoom, real-time classes with our partner universities with the students. You can definitely see that students' eyes are really twinkling. You can feel their energy as well. I always get amazed about their energy and passion and enthusiastic attitudes about some difficult projects like Python and Adobe Premiere and other kinds of business skills online, right? And also female faculty members in the partner university, we trained these faculty members as well. And then also their attitudes are really, really great and very active and very enthusiastic. So this is our online learning platform. So we focus on machine learning, artificial intelligence, and some of the latest ICT skills. So satisfaction level of participants, you can definitely say that satisfaction level is really high. Of course, quantitative numbers cannot tell us everything, but I'm very positive their satisfaction level is quite high, and they want to get more programs. But unfortunately, we have some budget constraints as well. These are some qualitative responses from our students. All of the subjects are my favorite. 2020 was amazing and very meaningful in my life. And it's such a great thing for a woman, how to change and improve my life. She's very challenged by our program. And confidence, achievements in the entire business area. Thank you so much.
Okay, now we'll turn to the Dr. Hongpet Chantabong from Laos. Ask questions, please. We cannot hear you. Please turn on the speaker.
Yes. Okay, good afternoon. Can you hear me?
Good afternoon. We
Yes.
can definitely hear you.
So this is my great honor to be joined in the meeting. First of all, I would like to express my thanks to the speaker and presenter for your sharing your knowledge and expertise. The National University of Laos has joined in the program since 2018, and one of the successful program and practical experience and lesson learned gain provide education and innovation on ICT and leadership scheme to our women students to contribute to the national socio-economic development. As we have received good cooperation from the Sakmang Women University during 2020 online UNESCO Twin in terms of the title of the Women Empowerment through ICT Scheme and Leadership Education. The training course have conducted from 26 to 30 October. And we have successfully completed. And once again, I also would like to thanks to Dr. Chung In-cho, Executive Director of the Asia Pacific Women Information Network Center.
Thank you.
So,
go ahead.
Can you hear me?
Yes. We can hear. Yeah.
As we can see from the list of the activity, there were a lot of more possibility to work together in our common benefit in area of joint research, ICT leadership advanced workshop, and international cooperation, or joint course on many more. But currently, National University of Laos and Sakmang University have implemented only the ICT and leadership local training due to the ongoing COVID-19 pandemic. But two, which is have given us positive outlook on what is the to come once the situation is back to normal and the program are implemented, I hope, so far. So therefore, to the Dr. Chung In-cho, I would like to learn from you some issues in terms of what is the main barrier to achieve women empowerment in the region of Asia. The second, and how can we improve the gender equality in the near future? And the third, what were the problem facing during create organization and conduct the project or program? The last one is in your view, which focal point are the most important in order to realize women empowerment? And that's my question to share with you. Thank you very much.
Thank you. I'm also discussant for the Sungmyeong Women's University's presentations. According to the Paris Accord and also Accra agendas, the effectiveness of the ODA is very important. I would like to ask Dr. Jung In, can you explain about some example of the effectiveness of capacity building in your works in ASEAN countries? Thank you.
I think that we need a more systematic monitoring system to demonstrate what was the precise effectiveness of capacity building for these women. But there are many numerical and qualitative evidences that so 1 year of additional schooling can make this woman's income much more dramatically, like, and also at the individual level, at the family level, child mortality rate and their income level will be very much different. And then we hear so many moving stories from our students that they exposed to this ICT skills education, and then from agricultural major, and then from international relations major, and so on, and then they could be able to open business and expand their business through their ICT skills, and they sometimes pursue postgraduate study as well. So I can tell you that. And then also to Vice President, to answer your question, what are the most important barriers in terms of our current program? I think I would want to say that it's a budget. These partner universities want numerous diversified programs, but then because of the budget constraint, that I think that is the most important challenging issue for us right now. And then Asia Pacific region, I believe in institution. So for example, quota system should be more systematically implemented at the private level, at the public level, at the Congress level. So that kind of quota system and other kinds of institutions can change our glass ceilings and stumbling blocks for more power, woman empowerment. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Jo. Now we'll turn to the Dr. Youngmin Kwon from Korea National Open University. You have 7 minutes.
Hello everyone, I am Professor Youngmin Kwon from Korea National Open University. I'm going to introduce what we have done so far and what we are doing now. First, the title of the network is the Network on Sharing Knowledge and Experiences of Distance Education in Higher Education. As you know, KNOU is South Korea's representative distance higher education institution. So we are contributing to this project by utilizing our experience in distance education for the past 50 years. KNOU was appointed to the host institution January 2017. Next, let me introduce KNOU's 4 partner institutions. First, Nepal project. Partner institution in Nepal is Tribhuvan University. We are focusing to develop e-learning contents and courses based on Moodle. Second, Mongolia project. Partner institution in Mongolia is Mongolian University of Science and Technology. We are focusing to upgrade the quality of distance learning and organize curriculums for Department of Computer Science. Third, Vietnam project. Partner institution in Vietnam is Hanoi Open University. We are focusing to enhance the online assessment system. Finally, Malaysia project. Partner institution in Malaysia is Open University Malaysia. We are focusing to create online contents related to Korean language and GCED, that is Global Citizenship Education. Here are some activity pictures in Nepal for need assessments and faculty training in TU. And some activity pictures in Mongolia and webinar with MUST. Some activity pictures in Vietnam and Zoom meeting with HOU. and also Zoom meeting with OUM. And we also held several workshops. These are working group seminar pictures. Actually, due to the pandemic, we have not been able to visit any country this year, but our project should be continued. So now we are developing an online learning platform based on Moodle for this Unitwin project. This platform will help us run this project effectively without having to visit in person. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Let's listen to Dr. Ganga Gautam from Nepal. You raise questions to Dr. Kwon, okay?
Thank you, Dr. Yang. Distinguished scholars and respected professors. Dr. Kwon, thank you very much, and thank you, Unesco Unitwin project, through which Tribhuvan University has actually been able to switch from face-to-face mode of education to online mode of education to respond to COVID-19 so quickly, because this Unesco Unitwin project created a foundation to make an immediate move from face-to-face to online mode. So currently, as Dr. Kwon mentioned earlier, we are training a group of trainers in Tribhuvan University, about 80 trainers, to cascade the learning management system training, Moodle in this case, to about 8,000 plus teachers teaching at our university network in Tribhuvan University across the country. And Dr. Kwon and his team, Dr. Yang, Dr. Kim, they developed the Moodle training manual, 6-module training manual, which is what we are delivering at the moment to our trainers to cascade that training. The question I would like to ask you, thank you very much for your efforts to customize the kind of training package based on the training need assessment that we jointly carried out in your last visit in Nepal. So since Tribhuvan University has so many teachers with different level of digital competence and digital literacy. So the question that they are asking, this is the 5th day of training and the TOT will conclude tomorrow morning. So my trainers are asking whether there are already some background courses or modules which they can carry on for extra practice. Since we have different level of digital competence and digital literacy, they need some additional support in the basics of this Moodle learning management system. So I would appreciate if you could share with us, based on your experience, some of the modules or courses or self-taught materials which could help my university teachers to familiarize themselves in the learning management system. Thank you.
Would you minimize your response?
Sure. Actually, I'm teaching philosophies of education. So I'm a kind of philosopher, not a person of technician. So in my view, so first of all, I strongly believe that in the process of teaching and learning, what really matters is the content the teacher has, not the technology itself. So if instructor or teacher possess good content, I think she or he will be able to create good enough class with low-level technologies. I believe that. But to answer your question, I believe that also it is very important to categorize various online resources according to difficulty, since, as you mentioned, participants' ability to use technology is not same. The online resources which will be provided to participants should be different. And I strongly recommend to list up open sources and sort them according to difficulty level. Maybe we can talk later more, about this.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Okay, Dr. Son Jung-ju. Okay. You have 7 minutes.
Okay, hello. I'm a Professor Jung Ju-son, Unitwin Project Manager in Korea National University of Education. It is an honor to introduce KNU Unitwin Project in this opportunity. Of KNU Unitwin Project is to exclude cooperative research among universities for the purpose of high-quality teacher education. Today, my presentation follows this order. First, background and motivation, main objectives, project strategies, major achievement for this year, and finally, long-term strategies. According to the result of the analysis of big data on education in 2030, conducted by OECD and Insight of education experts, global education connectivities becomes tighter, and role of higher education institutions such as universities also become more important. About the teachers required by society, Education 2030 predicts changing the role of teachers and ways of innovation in education, and the strengthening of data technology-based education and education compatibilities of human teachers in AI era. So in order to respond to these environmental changes and improve the quality of education, we have set project the goal to strengthen teacher competence. Korea National University of Education, as a leader institution for education research and pre-service in-service teacher training in Korea, has joined this NICE project under theme of quality teacher education with 4 partner countries starting in 2020. It means this year, right? The partner institutions are currently 5 universities in 4 different countries. They are located in Indonesia, Indonesia University of Education, Spanobong University in Laos, and National University, University of Education in Vietnam, and Khon Kaen University and Maridol University in Thailand. The goal of this project lies in the contribution to the sustainable development of underdeveloped countries through high-quality teacher education. To such end, we strive to achieve the following 3 objectives: training quality teachers, and creating networking, and developing curriculums. For the sub-goals, those are to present the successful model for constructing the high-quality teacher education. It is necessary for the sustainable development and global citizen education. The second, to create a practical network and form the partnerships with 4 universities in Asian countries. And the third one, to development curriculum, is to establish sustainable education curriculum collaborations and sharing systems. And this is the project strategy. In detail, objectives are the building cooperative network, developing quality teacher education program, implementing quality teacher education programs, and consulting and facilitating self-sustained growth and expanding. Last year, we held international seminar with professors from partner universities. It was the first time to announce our Unitwin project officially and conducted academic exchange to share the overview of teacher education in each country. The topics were the education innovation, policy and certification, teacher training, educational curriculum program, education policy and teacher certificate, teaching and learning contents, and the last test, teaching and education counseling. Before COVID-19 outbreak, KNU staffs visited Thailand, Vietnam, and Laos to gather opinions on the demand for teacher education and built the foundation for the development of KNU UNESCO Unitwin program. After COVID-19 situation, the field visits became difficult, so online meetings they become more frequent, and the partner university and whole or each country depending on the issues. Yeah. Based on the meeting contents, 8 teams, mainly KNU professors collaborating with in-service teachers, have created teacher training contents on the subject of teaching method, educational counseling, STEM education contents, mathematics education, and education for data science. The researchers from partner countries will receive the contents and apply it to the education, to pre-service and in-service teachers. And then we will look forward to get the field application. In December next month, KNU is preparing online seminar on the theme of teacher education for future education. Just like this today's seminar, so we look forward to your interest. And for the long term, KNU University of Education, Korean National University of Education aims to increase the capabilities of higher education institutions in partner countries and to solidify a global partnership beyond the global of faster teacher competency. There are 2 expanding institutions as a Unitwin partner within a few years, the Myanmar Yangon University of Education and Mindanao State University in Philippines. That's all for today, and thanks for your attention.
Thank you, Dr. Son. We'll listen to Dr. Ari Widodo. Your comment, please.
Okay, good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for inviting me to this very fruitful seminars. And thank you for Dr. Son and KNUE for involving us in the Unitwin program. So first of all, actually this is a wish for me. I think that if we can start the collaboration by developing online courses that can be taken by students from all participating universities, that would be great for our students and also for our project. And secondly, I would like to propose that we conduct research on teacher of the future, especially at the post-pandemic era later on. And one very brief question. As one of the main objectives of the program is to promote quality teacher education, in my opinion, quality is a dynamic rather than a static notion. It means that the standards of quality may change from time to time. Then how do you define quality and what are the indicators of quality education? Thank you.
Thank you very much, Professor Ari. I agree with the question, the importance of your question. We are witnessing the rapid change in society. These changes have to do with a major shift in modern business and technology, which is called industrial revolution. So based on this information, we can predict the future with some confidence. The education aims to cultivate talent for the future society, especially for the school education. So the training of qualified teacher must take this change together. So taking into account the future of students and society, So my opinion is that the teaching and learning method reflecting these pedagogical purpose, including experiences of teacher and researchers, can be evaluated as a qualified teacher training. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Mr. August, are you there? Mr. August?
Okay, Professor Sun Yong Chu. Okay, thank you for the presentation. Yeah, on the topic of quality teacher education. Looking into your presentation, that is very comprehensive and even it's very practical to understand when we are looking into the strategies, the strategic plan, also the plan programs that they were well presented, But I believe the execution is also the other important matter. Okay, looking into the ultimate goal of this program is basically to improve and enhance the education index or human development index of the partnering or participating countries that correlate to their economic and sustainable development. I hope this program will achieve its goals and make a significant influence in the building of human well-being and narrow down the gap with the advanced country, especially in the Asian region. And looking into the Asian countries, except Singapore, compared to the other Asian countries such as China, Korea, and Japan, we are the Asian country having lower indexes. Even Indonesia, along with Philippines, Cambodia, and Thailand, are still under Malaysia and Brunei and Singapore. While some other Asian countries are having much higher scores, such as Korea, 0.906, and in Japan, 0.915, and Hong Kong, 0.939. And through this strategic program, I believe a significant improvement in quality teaching and education will be benefited by the participating countries. Okay. For this session, I have two concern and question. My first question is, what are the current challenges and constraints being observed by the committee with the participating countries that need to be addressed and anticipated in order to be able to deliver the programs more effectively in each participating countries? And my second question is, what would be the recommended project and long-term strategies for the participating countries to adapt or to create in order to effectively achieve the main objective, as shared by Unitwin cooperation? Okay, thank you, Professor Jung Jun.
Okay, thank you very much. I think I can answer in one answer for your two questions. We are the first year, the Unitwin program, KNUE. So we understand what is the main difficulties to provide and sharing with partner countries and universities. We have to understand each other first. We have to understand the school situation, how the teacher is elected and how teacher trained is first. So we had a limited time to observe in other countries. So it was limitation for us. So maybe the most important thing to sharing, to collaborate this project, we have to understand each other first. So we have to get demand from the partner universities first, and we have to share many things with the in-service teachers. So it is the most important thing. And second one, maybe your question is the long-term strategy for this program. So maybe after we sharing the importance of this program and sharing the purpose of this program, maybe teacher will join with us, and maybe in-service teacher in Korea also will join this program too. So the most important thing is the university have to manage this program, not trying to handle this program for the school education development. That is my thinking. Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you very much. We overperformed. It's past already 4 o'clock. Thank you very much. We are here to work together to fulfill the United Nations SDGs. We here 4 universities, Unitwin host universities in Korea. We'd like to work with the international organizations and also the universities in developing countries to overcome the difficulties and the very confusions caused by the COVID-19. We'd like to find out the innovations to upgrade the higher educations in the era of the COVID-19. I would like to allocate a few seconds for the friends very far away from here, from Anna and Honorable Excellency Mercuria, and also international organization Wesley Teta. We will give you 10 or 20 seconds. Anna first.
So I really want to thank you, all of you, Handong Global University and UNESCO Unitwin, for the opportunity to express ourselves and our reality. As you said before, we haven't opened our universities and schools yet, but we hope we can learn from all your experience. And I would like to have the opportunity to learn a lot from all the programs that you are doing right now. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Honorable Excellency Minister Mercury Haley, few words, please.
Thank you, Professor Ahan. Really, within a short period of half a day time, you did wonderful job. So I want to say thank you for you as a host and the organizer. Job well done.
Thank you very much.
And we learned the role of female and the UNESCO Unitwin projects and all the presenter professors. We noted all the list of the projects which you are focusing. I think we can have a good connection, and I will keep communicating with the Handong Global University. So we'll keep in touch, and we will do our best to learn from the Korean experience and from the UNESCO projects. So job well done. You did very wonderful job within a short period of time. Keep going on such a seminar. Thank you very much for giving us this access and opportunity. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Honorable Excellency. Yeah, Dr. Wesley Teta.
Thank you so much. I just want to echo Professor Mercuria, His Excellency, and all the good words that have been shared today. It's really an honor. And I feel like for me, one big takeaway is this deep self-awareness of how connected we are, of how far we've come and how much we're willing to do together to go forward. So I feel like this understanding, this deeper self-awareness is truly important. 3 quick points on how we can connect education for sustainable development. Starting with that deep self-awareness, this individual transformation that we're all going through together, from mental health to professional development to reaching out to others, this individual transformation can connect on to the societal transformations, the impact, the beauty of this group. If you look around the room, very impressive. The societal level transformations that you're already contributing to, truly impressive. And 3, the tech advances are 3rd, they come after this. The advances that we're able to connect and work in a different mode is truly impressive. So I think deeper self-awareness I took from today. So thank you very much. And as we look forward to education for sustainable development, you have many friends around the world, and I look forward to following your work as we continue to collaborate. Thank you again, and congratulations on today.
Thank you. We would like to have this kind of meeting in Seoul, inviting all of you to in the next year. We wish that, okay? See you in Seoul next year. Thank you very much. This is the end of the seminar. Thank you.
Thank you.
감사합니다.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.